What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Sports to the Wire. For those of you who are actually new to the show, I'm your host, Rasheed White. My boy, Barrick Burrell, is on the other side of the panel. And I think he was down earlier, but now he's actually up because of the of Damian Lillard potentially wanting to come to the New York Knicks, in a sense, though. So we'll be talking about that and then the free agency and the Knicks signings there that Barrick was so excited about, man. He was really, really happy, man. He was just like, yo, he called me up. He's like, Rasheed, yo, did you see what happened with the Knicks did? He's like, yo, I'm real happy. Yo, Barrick, take us off, baby.
Take us off. Well, listen, we're talking about the possibility of a trade that obviously can land Damian Lillard in a Knicks uniform. Now, is that possible? We don't know. Damian Lillard has came out and said personally that if he is to be traded, if he agrees to do the trade, his number one place of offering would be the New York Knicks. Now, how is that possible? Well, let's go down with the concepts. First and foremost, do the Knicks have enough capital? Do they have draft capital? They do. They have 2 first rounds next year and in 2023 as well. So they have draft capital. They can also trade R.J. Barrett, which I don't agree with it, but they can do that. So they do have options.
Little, you definitely do that, man. That's just, that's a no-brainer, right?
Yes, it is a no-brainer. But as a Knicks fan, I've always been cautioned that when you give up your young pieces and you give up your draft capital, you better do it knowing that within a certain window, which I believe is 2 to 3 years, you better come up with at least an NBA Finals appearance at the very least, let alone a championship. Because when you do this, you do have those 3 years. And then after that's done, you set yourself back. Damian Lillard is 31 years of age right now. You figure by 34, 35, he's probably in that last tier, if at all, where CP3 is right now. Just balling out, making wise decisions, not in a position where he can just use his talent and his intelligence to dominate. So right now, you got a nice 3-year window, but you're talking about the capital they have. They do. I honestly think they have an opportunity to make some splash in the free agency. Signing Evan Fournier was, it was all right. You had to do something. But this is the big fish. Damian Lillard is the big fish. You want to see if you can nab him. And this is the possibilities with these capitals. So hopefully it happens. Hopefully it goes through. But my guess is the answer is going to be no. I'm a Knicks fan, bro. He could either be using the Knicks as a front to stay in Portland, or this is really the deal. But you haven't heard this from Damian Lillard.
All right. Let's look at the possibilities of Damian Lillard, Damian actually going to the Knicks, and what would that team look like in a sense, though? Because we were talking about that earlier. I mean, and our pre-show prep over here. I thought we had an excellent conversation, Barrick and I. And what would that look like? Is it better for him to actually stay in Portland or go to the Knicks? Look at the talent that would be around him in a sense, though.
Well, I mean, right now, Carmelo Anthony skipped town. He went to the Lakers. So there's some of your veteran presence off the team. But, you have made some additions. But right now, with that, and I guess the Carmelo Anthony departure was pretty big. Right now, it would probably be in the best interest for Portland to kind of keep Damian Lillard. Now, this is the thing. If the trade was to go through, let me rock this on you guys first and foremost. The Trailblazers would get R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, 3 first-round picks, and then 2 future pick swaps, just for Damian Lillard alone.
All right, so Vegas, I pulled up the Damian Lillard's next team odds, and I think Sportsline got it at the Knicks is number 1, Philadelphia 2, Miami 3.
Miami 3, Golden State 4, Lakers, Clippers, Dallas, Boston, and the Raptors. Yeah, that's the way it looks. But, what's the reality in all that? The reality in all that is Damian Lillard serious about coming to the Knicks? That's the question. Is this some kind of publicity stunt? And for what? Damian Lillard's made $400 million in his career. He's at a point now, 31 years old. This is the question. Are the Knicks in a position to go after a championship if they were to add him on the team? The answer is no. They're not ready to win. Even if they added him, he's not ready to win a championship for this team. They're still a year or two away. You're going to have to add another piece there. Who would that third star be? Who would that be? Would it be John Morant in 2 years because he's available? Would it be Zion next year? Zion's gone out and said he wants to come to New York if at all possible. So there are possibilities on the table, but what are your guarantees first and foremost that you're going to get another superstar over there if you do acquire Lillard? Based on all these logical concepts, it doesn't seem like it's the best move for him to come here. And I'm speaking as not a Knicks fan, I'm speaking as a basketball knowledgeable individual.
All right, so yeah, and let's say this would go through. The Trailblazers would definitely get RJ Barrett, Emmanuel quickly, 3 first-round picks and 2 first-round swaps.
That's right.
And then the next get Damian Lillard. But then, like I said, look at the team now. Now, who's out there in free agency? Man, maybe, I should have pulled up that list. It doesn't look good. It doesn't really look like a good team right here, man.
What if the Knicks were to pick him up? Well, listen, you gave up Emmanuel. You will give up your small forward, and you'll give up your future point guard. This is what you're doing, but you have to give up certain logical. Same thing in baseball. When you make a big trade for a big player, you got to give up some of your farm system players who are actually going to be pretty good in a year or two. Along with some draft capital or some money considerations. This is the way it works in big time sports. You want a superstar on your team, you're going to have to give up certain things to do it. Again, my question is, do you do it? And how close are you trying to make a run for a championship?
Yeah, and the thing is that Portland is not going to be in any kind of rush to actually trade him. He has 3 years left on his deal. Now, if he was approaching the free agency mark next year, in a sense, though, let's say this was his last year, then you can actually get. Portland will be in a rush, but I don't think they're in a rush. They have to get almost equal value for Dame there, man.
Well, see, RJ Barrett is still developing, but he's getting better year to year. Emmanuel quickly has shown capabilities that he can become better, but he's not equal. None of them are equal value. They're just younger players that you can add on. But if you're Portland, you've been sitting in the first round getting knocked out, second round getting knocked out, and you still haven't reached the NBA Finals. And you're just trying to say, oh, damn, we got Dame Lillard on our team, and we're about to get ready to get rid of him. So that means you're throwing the white flag in. And if you're Portland, that's not good.
You will have a good combination of Julius Randle and Dame there, man. What do you think? Is that beating Brooklyn, Milwaukee, the newly formed Miami Heat in a sense, though?
That's not beating any of those teams in a playoff series, but it does give the Knicks more wins than they had last year. It does give them the potential possibility of going after. They were a 4 seed this year. All right, let's not forget they were a 4 seed this year. Could they push up and go for a 3rd seed? I don't know. I just think they probably will still be a 4th seed anyway, even if they made these additions, because everyone else has gotten better. So it's kind of hard to tell at this point in time. But I do think one thing for sure, the Knicks will have probably given themselves a better win-loss record, and they probably will be just as good as anybody else in the Eastern Conference in regards to contending for the top 3-4 playoff seeds in the Eastern Conference. But to go after a finals appearance, no. You would have to make another splash, man. You would have to get another star along with that in order for you now to raise yourself to being, now we're the top 2, top 3 team in the NBA now. So let's say you go and get a Joel Embiid along with Evan Fournier and Randall and Dame Lillard. Now you got a little squad. Now you got a squad.
All right, let's talk about the signings, the free agency signings, Barrick. You was really excited about that, man.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot, boy. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of those.
All right, so Derrick Rose, I believe he got like $34 million or something like that. I think it was like 2-year deal. What do you think, man? Eric Fournier, good.
78 mil for 4 years. And listen, I think they paid too much. But let me run some on Evan, man, because I knew we were going to bring Evan up. Let me just run some numbers on Evan, man. Evan Fournier has been a model of consistency but no dominance. Back in 2020, he averaged 19 points a game. 2019, 18 points. 2018, 15 points a game. 17 points a game. Okay? 16, 17 points a game. What's that say? Let's say this man has even averaged over 20 points in the last 5-6 years. Is he worth $78 million for 4 years? No. But you gave it to him anyway. See, Leon Rose and Mills decided we have to make some kind of splash in free agency, not only to make ourselves feel happy, but to make the NBA, make the New York Knicks fan base feel happy.
Fan base feel happy.
That's it. That's what it really is.
And judging by your tone, you don't seem too happy about it.
I'm not over the moon on it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, at least they're doing something. But I'm giving you numbers based on the fact that this man has been relatively decent on offense, but he hasn't been dominant on offense. I mean, he's a career 46% shooter. That's good. So that means the majority of the shots he takes, he makes them. But he's not taking a whole lot of shots. So he's taking 17 shots a game. He makes about 11 of them, 10 of them. This is a $78 million man. This is a $20 million man. $25 million man, not $78 million. But here's what we talked about in our prep. The market for NBA free agents has risen to an ultimate high, where there's players out there now, like your ex center from Brooklyn, Mr. Jarrett, who got $100 million for 5 years.
Oh, Jared, I forgot about Jared Allen.
Yes, that's right. He got
He's still a development piece. This is not
Okay, but is he worth 5 years, $100 million? Okay, that's the whole question.
Nah, especially that he has serious limitations. You're right. I mean, he can't hit free throws.
Yeah, he's a liability in most cases of the word. So, see, this is why I want to put the word out there that the market has risen so high. It's not even funny. I mean, look at DeMar DeRozan. He's going to Chicago with ball. Now along with Levine. Now does the Bulls got a three-headed monster. They got Ball, they got DeRozan, and they got Levine. Now the Bulls
looking at the New York Post. I mean, this is the headline for the New York Post. This can't be all for Leon Rose has planned for the Knicks, right? And it's a big question mark, and they don't really like this. They don't really like these moves over here, man.
Well, listen,
on paper for sure. Fournier is a upgrade over Bullock. Yeah, that's true.
But not a major one.
Bulls added Lonzo Ball. The Heat added Kyle Lowry. So there's some major, I wouldn't say major moves, but let's say significantly better moves from other teams than the Knicks actually had made. And, they're not really impressed over here with this free agency period.
Well, listen, the bottom line is you have to go out there and you got to talk to players and you got to sell them on the Garden. You can't sell these guys on the Garden, then they're going to go somewhere else. All right? Yeah. That's the basic bottom line. Now, you talked about the Portland Trailblazers. They signed Norman Powell to a 5-year deal. You keeping Powell there along with your what's his name, McLaurin? So you keeping other players there. So I don't see Dame leaving. You know, you look at all these teams and the moves they're making, bro. They're making power moves. You know, I just don't know. After you resign Derrick Rose to a 3-year deal, too much money. Nerlens Noel, 3-year deal, too much money. Alec Burks, he's been pretty good from the outside, 38%.
So in total, $105 million.
Yeah, but these are players that's practically on the team. And I just gave you numbers for Eric Fournier the last 6 years. The man hasn't averaged 20 points in the last 6 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a tough.
And that's the thing. All right, and the problem with that is the same thing what I was saying about Joe Harris. You give them that kind of money, man. They have to, they ain't looking for you to be like, inconsistent in a sense, though. You have to perform, and that's it starts to become a lot of pressure, man. They expect big things out of you with that kind of money, though, right, Berg? I mean,
yeah, they do. That money
a lot of pressure on a player, man, to actually perform. I mean, and the Knicks fans are going to make sure that he actually tries to live up to that contract, right?
Yeah, they go. But you listen. Realistically, you follow basketball enough. You know the man plays hard. He's French, man. You don't know French ball players can ball. They are hard workers. So I'm never going to question my man's durability. I'm not going to question my man's hard work ethic. That's not the case. But in the game of basketball, when you sign down that $80 million contract for 4 years, you better be averaging more than a career 18 points a game. You better be dropping 25, 26. We better be seeing something coming from you. Because if not, it's going to be like, why'd you give up all this money for a player, as you, how you call it, a B, C level player? Okay, so then that's what that comes down to.
He's a B player. I mean, if he's averaging like 16 points a game, he's a B player. I mean, it's a pretty solid. I'm not saying an A level star player. That can, like I said, in the last 2 minutes of the game, get this man the rock. He's going to take you home, man. But he's a good foundation piece in a sense, though.
Yeah, he's a good foundation piece, but it's just you look at teams because listen, you got the Bulls were smart. They got Lonzo Ball, on a sign and trade, and they signed DeMar DeRozan into a contract. So you got to do certain things like that. Why didn't you try to do some sign and trades? I mean, why didn't you just try to pull that out your backside instead of just simply going out there spending all the damn money you want to spend the money on? This is not helping. Now, rumor also has a Kawhi Leonard is thinking about coming to the Knicks.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, that's rumor has it. Now, if you get Kawhi and Dame, does that mean the Knicks get better? No. You know why? Because now, where's your depth on the roster? You still got to give players away. You lost your draft picks. You done basically strap-handed yourself for the next 2 to 3 years. So you better win this chip. That's all it's about now. Because when that's done, you got to start from scratch all over again. That's why I'm not always a component of saying, listen, let's go after the big fish. Because all you got is a certain amount of years. You know that. You're a Brooklyn fan. You know you only got a certain amount of years to get this done.
Yeah, certain window, yeah.
Yeah. So if it don't get done, it's like, damn, here we go. We got to start all over again. So it's just what it is. But I don't know what the next future plans are. They haven't really put their stamp on it right now and to tell us what's going on. But I'm gonna tell you something, my brother. We are at a point now where good thing about the NBA is that players are moving around, and now these teams are starting to look better across the board. Yeah, you still got Brooklyn and the Lakers, but there are teams that are getting better around these teams, slowly but surely. But it's just the market is so high that average players are cashing in on superstar money.
Yeah,
and that's where we are right now. So it's unfair to ask guys like Evan Fournier and guys like that to come out there and produce and drop 25 a game when he's never done that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. We'll wrap this video up. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Certainly share this video. When you share, the universe certainly shares back with you. Peace.
Peace.